Good morning and welcome to the Senior Hour. I'm Dr. Gene Dorio with my co-host Barbara Cochran on your hometown station AM 1220 KHTS. This is a show for, by, and about seniors, bringing information to enhance one's quality of life. And we are sponsored by Advanced Audiology and In-Home Care. Barbara is off today, and we have with us Robin Clow from the Senior Center. And Robin, you know, when we do have you, there are such pertinent information that we get from you that needs to be brought out to our seniors on the radio, and this is one of the ways that we can enlighten them and entice them to come to our senior center. What are the things that you have going on there that will do that for our seniors who are listening?
Oh, well, first I'd like to thank you for having me, and I'm especially excited that Rick Ferrante is here and Bill Lyons will be here. Rick Ferrante provides such great services for seniors, and he's a senior center volunteer, and Bill Lyons is a guest lecturer over at the center. So I'm just really excited to be here today with these special guests. We have so many activities at the senior center. We run a full spectrum, so there's no excuse not to come to the Senior Center. Next month, September, is National Senior Center Month. So we will be celebrating that. We want to highlight the many, many activities and programs that we have. The theme is Find Balance at the SCV Senior Center. And some of the things we're highlighting is, one is learning. You, Dr. Gene Dorio, and our computer instructor, Gail Eisenberg, will be bringing a computer into our lunchroom and teaching us how to do simple games. Just try to get rid of the intimidation of the computer and open up this world to our seniors through this learning program. We have a scholar series of Hedy Lamarr. You may have heard of her. She was an actress during the golden age of Hollywood. And she also, not many people know this, but she was a scientist who actually created something that's responsible for our modern communication system.
She was like a mathematician. She
Yes.
had that kind of brain that, you know, like an engineer, mathematician type person that I think as you go back to, I believe it was World War II, she contributed in a way, not on the silver screen, but she contributed to the battle in the Pacific.
That's right. She had a huge contribution during World War II, and in a way her beauty was a curse because she had such a great brain, and she kept being overlooked for that because of her beauty. And then also Grandparents' Day, we're going to be celebrating purpose because our seniors can share their wisdom and their knowledge with us. They do that all the time. And we're going to be celebrating that on a Grandparents' Day celebration. And it's going to be Grandparents Take the Cake, with cake sponsored by Atria Senior Living. Wellness is another theme for the month. Balance and fall prevention. Actually, the first day of fall, we're going to have a fall prevention lecture.
Ironic.
By Abby Pavlovich, and she's our care manager and RN. She's going to do a great informative lecture. And of course, friendship. Find balance through friendship. And if you've ever been to the Senior Center, you know that's the place where friendships are made. It's just so heartwarming. And we're going to have a friendship party on the last day of the month with our popular band Tess and Company, and a special performance by our SCV Senior Center tap dancers and lots of other friends to celebrate finding balance through friendship. So we hope everybody can come.
So many
come
things, Robin, that are going on over there. And I just hope our listeners who are sitting at home are realizing that, you know, this is here in your community. It is not down in the San Fernando Valley. You don't have to travel up to the Central Valley. It is here in Santa Clarita.
That's correct. And there's people, I believe, sometimes have a misconception about what a senior center is.
Walkers and wheelchairs, hearing aids,
No,
squeaking.
it's just full of energy, and it doesn't matter what your physical level is, you're still the same inside. And a lot of my top volunteers are seniors themselves, and I've got people scrubbing pots. They're almost 90 years old back in the kitchen, and they won't let me stop them. They just really like having that purpose in their life and helping us.
Great. Congratulations. Anything else going on before we turn our attention to Rick?
Well, there's so much I wouldn't know where to begin. So I think I've covered a lot for September.
Great. So Rick, and you have participated a lot over at the Senior Center and in this community. Tell us a little bit about how you feel your involvement has enhanced your life and the things that you do and your recognition of what our seniors need.
Yeah, it's interesting when just listening to Robin talk. It's one of these things, and we've talked a lot in the sense of talking to families in an environment where they're at a point where they're recognizing that their parents or whomever are slowing down a little bit, and changing in terms of their life there. And what's interesting is when you're talking to them and you talk to them about some of these things that, like Robin was saying, they would be shocked that there's that much going on there at the Senior Center. The picture or the image is of the institutionalized, people in wheelchairs that are sitting there and dark and, just horrible, just walls and, just these really bad places. And they don't recognize that when you walk in there and you walk into the Senior Center, the amount of energy is, you just feel it. And it's surprising when you don't recognize or you don't realize that that's what's there. You don't realize that there's that much energy and that much going on.
If you walk in and you walk in too slow, they'll run you over.
Yeah, they'll run you over. There's stuff going on all over the place. Noise, there's things happening over here and there and everything. And then there are quiet areas and there's and areas where there's activity and things like that going on. So it's very different than what maybe that misperception is. And it's not just a misperception of seniors, it's a misperception of their families. And generally these things are kind of a family affair where either friends or family or somebody is thinking about and what's going on, what are we doing, and that kind of thing, and they have this in their mind. So I think it would be well worth a visit to in including the rest of the family to go and chat with people over there and chat with Robin and chat with everybody at different people and the people that come. What do you do here? What are the things that are going on? Because there's a lot more energy and there's a lot more fun than you would picture. It's almost, when you were a kid, Dr. Dory, remember going down to the rec center? We used to always go to the rec center. It was the park and there was a rec center. There was like little pool tables in there. There was basketball. There was things at the rec center. And I picture the Senior Center more like that than I do now than some kind of home that is dark and dreary and that kind of thing. And so it's more of a fun place.
Absolutely.
Certainly educational too. I've sat through several and I've gone through several of these kinds of seminars and things. Learn a lot of things there.
And they're going to bring inline skating there too, so you really have to move pretty quick. Maybe not that yet because fall. The fall season is coming up, so we do have to be a little bit careful. But the social part of family, being a part of all of us as we get older, is very important, isn't it?
I'll tell you a quick story. So we do a lot of, my mom or dad or whoever has some kind of medical condition, has something that's wrong, has something that's going on, so we got to work with medication, we got to work with physical therapy, this, that, and the other thing. Okay, that's fine. That is true. That does happen, and people have these challenges. But I had a gal come in, and after we had cared for her mother for many months, and she had said, when I first realized this was happening and I needed some help, I called you guys, and I was all about this medical kind of things, these kinds of things. And she says, what, I want to tell you guys, the thing I want to thank you for the most is actually the social side. She says, and my mom is now just engaged. And it was the most important thing for her. And I guess you can't say it's always the most important thing. You've got to be healthy. But unfortunately, everybody kind of forgets that social side, and a health of somebody, if that social side isn't there, and I know you're a doctor, you got to focus on being healthy, but, and we've talked about it before, that upstairs, that mental part, oh my gosh, right? I mean, it could be just the complete game changer. So part of the plan in terms of caring for my mom, my dad, my grandmother, whoever it is got to be more than just, ramps and rails, medication, physical therapy, healthy eating, all important. But okay, let's figure out times we're going to go to the senior center and do those things that Robin just listed, which were wonderful. And there are other things too. It's not just the senior center, and with friends and card games and a myriad of things. The theater.
Yeah, that's
life, right?
You're showing another misperception, and I'm so glad that you offer all of that, because there's so much more to health than medicine. And studies have shown that socialization is the key factor to quality of life. So it's so wonderful that that's what you do.
It's part of the care plan. I think that everybody has to recognize, and I think families, and the message is a family needs to look at that as well. And what I've noticed, my mother-in-law right now going through a surgery, just a shoulder replacement. So she's a tennis player, okay? And so that's tough, right? I mean, just really kind of sets her back. And our concern, while surgery, doing great, the whole thing's working out just fine, pain, etc. gone. But the key here is she get back to playing tennis. Mm-hmm. Yes, she's going to be, healthier, and the medicine is important, her physical therapy and everything important. Well, what's going on right here is that she gets to go back and play some tennis.
Quality of life.
Quality of life.
She's going to reattain that.
Mentally, right? Keep her very active and going for a long, long, long time. And we could do all the rest of it right. You could exercise here and take the right pills. You could go to the doctor. You could do all the things they said. But you know what's going to drive her? Playing tennis with her friends.
Absolutely. But something, going back a little bit to both of you, that, the senior center, as we get older, we have health problems. That's all there is to it. So just because you have health problems, it doesn't preclude you from going to the senior center. You should actually continue to go because as you get your health problems out of the way and find your quality of life again, you still have the mental stamina that's been provided at the senior center to move through it. So just not being in good health doesn't mean that you shouldn't go, because I will tell you that, taking care of 80 and 90 and 100-year-olds, they have ongoing problems, but they still go to the senior center.
Mm-hmm. Right. We have something for every level. And as you said, playing tennis, well, sooner or later, you just have to adapt. And there's something called pickleball I'm just learning about. I'd love to bring to the senior center. And it's for people who are challenged with their shoulders. There's no overhand serve. So you can still have all the fun of tennis, but we like to adapt things. We have chair exercises where you get a great aerobic workout just being in a chair. So really there's no excuse. So we look forward to you bringing your people, your clients and guests over.
Dr. Dorio, I'm sure you see it in your practice where as somebody is dealing with these challenges, these physical challenges, where you, as you're talking to them and giving and prescribing whatever it is, and then telling them what they need to eat and exercise, etc., and you probably could kind of pick the ones in terms of their mental and their social aspect of whether or not this is really going to do it, right? And it's like, how do you prescribe? Go and cognitively engage and physically engage and just movement. Unfortunately, what happens is if somebody, and we do the same thing. So if my knee starts hurting, what do? I stop riding my bike. And then what happens is the next time I, walk up and down the stairs, my knee gives out again because I am not riding my bike. And then I don't ride my bike
cycle.
More. And then it just keeps going.
The cycle.
The cycle. Now the reverse is true. Cycle it back up. Well, get back on the bike. Maybe not as hard, maybe not the bike, maybe something else that will get you back on the bike, or maybe whatever it is. And even if you are, it's even more of a challenge, because if there's other things, it's if you can cycle up and then have that activity, then the mental and the social and everything just kind of goes with it and it flows. And you see it in that energy. Robin, I've seen it. I mean, you go in there and the band and the and the dinners and everything. It's it's fun.
And
that's
some
the-
people
It's
are
all attitude.
they're aching. You can tell they're getting up slow, but then they start to dance and they loosen up. When you're athletic and you're on a team and you're younger, it becomes easy. It's easy, but when you get older, it's not. And fighting through that discomfort, fighting through that pain is really important to sustain yourself. And sometimes you do have a medical problem that you might need a new shoulder, you might need a new knee. That's a possibility. But there's most of the time you just have to work through the pain and discomfort to be able to achieve that quality of life. And if you don't do that, then you will never be able to get to a point where you can sustain it.
Our aerobics instructor, Linda Bennett, was in today, and she was telling all of the students in her class, and she even had a T-shirt on that said, "Never quit." And I think that's the philosophy that we all need to do. We just have to keep going. We're all facing adversity, but we need to keep going and never quit.
You look at we just went through the Olympics, right? That kind of inspirational. This isn't just for those guys. Our age, we're not doing what these guys are doing at the Olympics, but that mental attitude applies no matter what you are. Go up that next hill and do that next thing. And, like you said, if you're in a chair, do the aerobics while you're in the chair. There's just every level can have an inspirational or motivation drive. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be an Olympian to have that and to deal with that. And I would also challenge the families to be integrated with that. And when I say that, it's more than we've seen this a lot. Mom, go and do this stuff. I would say, go and do it with mom. There's not enough, and one thing that I would really like to see at the senior center, and it's not, and this is more of the community utilizing the senior center, is having more than just seniors participate in things. The family come in, family with seniors, kids. How cool is it to see that kind of multi-generational activity, and how beneficial that is for both or all the people involved. It's not just for the senior at this point. And, kind of having a part of the family, I don't know if you'd call it a plan, but, part of how we're dealing with this is not just saying, go over there and put people in a box. This is a community thing. I think the senior center and all senior-related things should be community things and not just seniors.
Absolutely. And, one of the inspiring things is when I have a grandfather who's out running their grandkids.
Cool.
and when that happens, you realize that there's still a lot of potential. Now, we have 2 minutes left, but I wanted to just bring up with you, Rick, there's, one of the problems that seniors sometimes face and are fearful of is Alzheimer's. And we have a Alzheimer's walk coming up in October.
Right.
And I'd just like you to quickly talk about that.
Yeah, I'll be real quick. October 8th is the Walk to End Alzheimer's. It's at Bridgeport Parks in the morning. Registration starts at 7:30, and then opening ceremonies at 9:30, and then the walk at 10. Love for people. We're looking for teams. We're looking for sponsors. We're looking for volunteers and help. Give us a call. Shoot us an email, and then we'll put you to work, and we'd love to just be out there. This is a disease that needs to end, and this is the way we can do it. And this is the Santa Clarita's walk. This is how we do ours. Just give us a call. Our 800 number is 800-808-4777. So 800-808-4777, and just say, hey, I'd like to get involved in the Walk to End Alzheimer's, and we'll get you involved.
Well, and you have been actively involved in the community, Rick, and I'm very proud to say that with your involvement, you have made a difference to our seniors in this community, maybe even helping the grandfather run faster than his grandkids. With that inspiration that you have given to our seniors in your work and working over at the Senior Center, we're proud that you have now worked in this area to try to get Alzheimer's cured. We appreciate that.
Appreciate having us.
So if people want to get a hold of you, once again, that's 1-800-808-4777.
Right.
And that's for home care services, which you run here in Santa Clarita, as well as the Alzheimer's Walk. Appreciate your being on the show today. It's always exciting and motivating for our seniors to hear what's going on out there that you have participated in. Thanks so much, Rick.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break right now on the Senior Hour on your hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS.